here it is, the perfect glute program. If I were to devise a program specifically designed to build the glutes, this is what I would go with. It touches on everything we've already talked about so far, each different component of the different muscles we need to train in the glutes, the glute max, glute med, the glute min, the different ways we can train them in vertical ways, horizontal ways, lateral rotation ways. So let's get into it. Welcome back to our series on building a bigger booty. My name is Josh Webster-Heenan. I'm an online fitness coach and physical therapist, and this is my perfect program to build bigger glutes. So ideally, we would do this 2 times a week. That way you allow 48 hours to 72 hours of rest and recovery between the workouts. Because as we know, we've already discussed what you do outside of the gym accounts for 80% of the results that you actually see from the gym. So it's really important to make sure we're resting and recovering, nutrition, everything else we've already covered. Splitting this into 2 different days, A day and B day, we've got all the components we've talked about. Starting off with a squat, followed by an RDL, glute hyperextension, as well as step ups. So we're really hammering the glutes here with our squat pattern, our hinge pattern, hip extension pattern with the glute hyperextensions, and again, a little bit more of the kind of squat vertical pattern, single leg emphasis with the step ups. Now, these, obviously there's still some variation among these exercises, the way you can perform them. Squats, barbell is ideal. You could certainly do hack squat machine, Smith squat machine. RDL is same thing. You can do a barbell RDL. I like these most just because you can load them progressively more easily. Dumbbells are great. So is a Smith machine. Even a cable machine is going to work just fine. Key is to pick one and stick with it. 8 to 10 to 12 weeks, progress week after week after week, getting stronger with each. Glute hyperextensions, using a hyperextension or Nordic machine, starting with either a dumbbell or a plate loaded resistance, and step ups, either on with a cable machine or dumbbells in hand, some kind of resistance. Then our B day, going to be hammering, starting off first with hip thrusts, split squats, cable abduction, so again, some more isolation, as well as a single leg RDL. Focusing a little more on isolation here, but again, we got our compounds to start. So as you can notice with both workouts, 2 compounds, 2 isolations. Now me personally, I would probably throw in some leg extensions somewhere, some hamstring curls, some adduction, because obviously we want to train well-rounded legs. We don't want to just develop the glutes, but specifically if we're looking just to maximize growth of the glutes, these are the exercises. That's all you need, 4 exercises spread across 2 workouts. Research indicates 12 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. It's pretty sufficient, pretty much diminishing results after 20 weeks. So we've got 3, 6, 10 by 12. Oh, no. We are not doing 10 sets. It's way too many. Three, 6, 8, 10. 3, 6, 8, 10. 20 total sets. I like to err on the side of caution and go on the higher end of that range, 12 to 20. What the research indicates is that less than 12 sets per muscle group per week, you're not really maximizing the growth that you could be seeing. Anything greater than 20 sets, it's kind of a point of diminishing returns. So on a graph, it's going to look something like this, where less than 12 sets, we're in this range. But if we go greater than 20 sets, we kind of start to level off and plateau. Doesn't mean more than 20 sets, you may respond better. Some may respond better to that. But at the same time, we really want to maximize our recovery, like we talked about. Essentially, anything after 20 sets is just more volume, it's more fatigue, and it's going to take longer to recover from. Now, the key with this, like I already mentioned, is that we're going to be taking each of these movements here, and the goal is to get stronger with each week after week after week. So a great way, we've already kind of talked about some progression, but a great way I like to progress is, let's take the squat, for example, 3 sets of 8. So we're going to do our warm-up sets. We're going to get into it. We're going to log 3 working sets. So let's take a barbell on our back, 45 on each side, 135 pounds. Say that's our starting working set. We do 3 sets of 8 that for the first week. Great. The next week we're feeling good. We bump it up to 145. We get 8 reps on the first set, 8 reps on the second set, but then 6 reps on the third set. That's fine. Then we continue to stay at that same weight the following week. And again, try and get 8 reps for each set. And then we move on and progress the weight. What I really like to do with this too is, obviously this is just one quick simple program. It's not a fix-all for everybody, is that we would do a range of 8 to 12 reps. So in the same kind of fashion, it's terrible too. We would do 3 sets of 8, 135 pounds. And then the next week, we can see if we can get it for 9 reps, 10 reps, 12 reps. After you're doing 3 clean sets of 12 reps of that weight, then you up the weight. For lower body, you can usually jump up 5 to 10 pounds. You go back to starting at 8 reps again, still wanting to stay within that range. So if you jump from 135 up to 175, you're probably not going to get it for sets of 8. You're going to get like sets of 4 or 6, and we don't need to do that. Muscle hypertrophy, ideally in a range of 6 to 15 reps. That's why the rep ranges are the way they are here. So again, jumping back down, you're doing 8 reps for each of those exercises. Then now with the higher weight, you're trying to get it for 9 reps, 10 reps, so on until you get 12 reps cleanly for 3 sets. And again, that's how you would progress the weight. And with a good glute program, yes, I would run this for 10 to 12 weeks before starting to switch things up. The compound movements are often going to stay the same. We might vary the rep ranges. So some days we're doing 3 sets of 8 to 10, 3 sets of 10 to 12. You could do higher days too, where you're doing 10 to 15 reps. Lower days where you're doing like 6 to 8 reps. It's important to kind of switch up that variability. Some days training heavier, some days training with more reps. Not that you're not training hard and training heavy. Again, the key is with all these too, that we're specifying this rep range of 3 sets of 10. You're wanting that 10th rep. You should only have 1 or 2 more in the tank. And on your last set, at the very least, taking it to failure. So your final 10th RDL, you're not able to get 1 more. Now, when it comes to planning the perfect program, we need to zoom further out rather than just the individual day of training that we're doing. Obviously, it matters most what we do in the days that we're in the gym, but we need to kind of take a step back, look at what we're doing over the course of several months, even up to a year. This can be broken down into what's called block training. So this is where a lot of our programming comes from, starting off with a macro block. Let's say we want to focus on growing the glutes for a full year. This is our macro cycle. That is the full year, and we can break it down further into mesocycles. So if we're breaking those down in maybe 4 mesocycles out of the year, 3-ish months for each mesocycle. That could be that program that we just talked about, A and B days. That would be 1 mesocycle. After 12 weeks of that, 3 months, it's time to start to switch it up. Maybe we shift from a hypertrophy focus to more of a strength focus. In order to build more muscle, we need to be both strong as well as also building the muscle with a more hypertrophy range. So it's important to train in both areas. Then our microcycles can be broken down even further. So maybe within that A and B day, there's a 6-week stint where we're really pushing with hip thrust and squat, and then we're changing it out for maybe a single leg hip thrust or a hack squat versus a barbell squat. And then actual training days, that is every day that you're going into the gym. So a lot of people have this bottom-up vision of like, well, it's most important what I do each day in the gym. I got to make the most of it. I got to do all these different things every single day I'm in the gym. That's not really the right way. It's not the best way to see it. It's better if you go top down and look at overall, what am I doing for a full year in advance? Or maybe a year can be a really big, we could even break this down into like 3 months, smaller chunks. But again, we need to zoom out, start from the top. What is our goal? What is our focus? Glute growth. What does that look like for a month or 2 months of training? What does that look like for a training week? That could be your microcycle. What does that look like for a training day? Because a good program isn't just doing the same exact thing every single day, day in and day out for 12 weeks straight. We're varying up our rep ranges a little bit. We're varying up our weight selection. So that's when it becomes important to looking at this as a whole. Because if we just look at each day and we're doing the same thing day in, day out, that's where we're stuck and not seeing results. So having a proper program to follow that's actually trending in the right direction for a full few months in a row is the way you're going to see true progress. Now that I've given you guys the perfect program, I want you to go out, I want you to try it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and report back on what results that you're getting from the program. I want to hear from you. I want to know how it's working, what's going, what you like about it, what you don't, what you would change. I want to know how this program works for you. But a couple reminders here, important things of note. When we perform our exercises, how many reps should we be doing? Ideally, we're sticking in a rep range of 6 to 15 reps. That has been shown to be best and most effective for hypertrophy. If you do 5 reps, if you do 16 reps, it's not the end of the world. It's sticking in this range is your sweet spot, because we know we can guaranteed be training hard enough. At the same time, we're not overdoing it, we're not creating undue and unnecessary fatigue. How many sets? 2 to 4 per exercise. I really don't think you need to do anything more than 4 sets per exercise. And really, if you can train hard and truly train with intensity and a proper warm-up, 2 sets is all you need on an exercise. 8 to 10 per workout. So again, if you're doing 3 exercises, that's 3-ish sets per exercise. 12 to 20 per week, spread across the course of the week. Me personally, I would rather do 2 days, 3 days of workouts and kind of spread them over the week. versus you could, in theory, do 20 sets of glutes on one day of the week. If that's what you're rocking with, that's still gonna work, but it's more effective to spread them out if you can. Intensity, we need to be sure that we're training with intensity. We're training with intent. We're not just moving through the motions and just getting it done, saying we did the right exercises. Why aren't we seeing growth? We need to actually train hard and train with intent. So anything over a 6+ on the RPE scale is ideal. Anything less than that is still kind of a warm-up. You're not really approaching failure yet. You're not stressing the muscle enough to create enough growth. Yes, you'll still see some, but we're talking about maximizing it. So RPE scale meaning 6 is like, well, maybe I could have done 3 or 4. 7 is like, maybe I could have done 2 or 3 more. A 10 out of 10 RPE, that is your max. You could not have done any more. We could also refer to this as RIR, reps in reserve. So if it's 0 reps in reserve, that's failure. 1 rep in reserve, that's almost failure. You could have done 1 more with good form, but you stopped just shy of it. So let's jot that down too. For every one of these 12 to 20 sets that we do per week, we should be within this 1 to 3 reps in reserve range. That means there shouldn't be any sets that we're logging. We could have done 4, 5, 6, 7 more reps with good form. We are pushing to this point of 1 to 3 reps in reserve on each set of each exercise, and ideally approaching that 1 to 0 reps in reserve on at least 1 set of the exercise, ideally the last set. Lastly, and most important, is the recovery. Again, 2 times a week for these exercises, spreading across over the course of the week, leaving 2 to 3 days, 48 to 72 hours of recovery, making sure there's adequate time for the muscle to grow and recover. Again, if you're in a tight pinch, you're in a squeeze, could you get them done back-to-back days, 1 day and apart? Yes, but again, we're talking about maximizing growth. This is what's going to be most ideal. Now it's your turn. It's time to get out there, try these exercises, try them out for yourself, put everything into place that we've covered here, and start seeing that growth. If it is still too confusing, there's just too much, you don't want to think about it, you just want results fast, then be sure to click the link below, check out my website, check out my coaching. I offer an app that you can download, customize both exercise and meal programs, make it simple and easy to follow along. And again, if you really want someone to truly personalize, customize details for every workout for you, check in with you week to week, holding you accountable to what you say you're going to do and actually make sure you see the growth, consider signing up for one-on-one coaching. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe.